Something major is unfolding across North America's beef industry, and it may reshape global markets in ways few expected. Ontario has rejected more than 150,000 tons of U.S. beef, a staggering quantity that instantly sent shockwaves through the agricultural and trade sectors. This wasn't symbolic, it wasn't bureaucratic, it was a direct, forceful response to the tariff pressure coming from Washington, and it has now triggered a shift that is being felt from Tokyo to Berlin to Dubai. One decision from a single Canadian province has exposed the vulnerability of a system that once seemed unshakable. For decades, the United States dominated the international beef market, millions of tons exported each year, premium cuts shipped to Asia, reliable supply chains feeding Europe and the Middle East. U.S. beef was branded as the global standard, consistent, high quality, trustworthy. Importers built their business models around it. Restaurants shaped their menus around it. Families across the world consumed it without question. But the global environment has changed. Trade relations have tightened. Buyers have become far more cautious, and confidence in American exports, once taken for granted, is beginning to slip. Ontario's rejection marks a breaking point, and the timing amplifies its impact. Canada believes the tariffs imposed by Washington are harmful, politically motivated, and economically reckless. Rejecting 150,000 tons of beef wasn't merely a technical compliance issue. It was a statement of sovereignty and economic protection. The moment this decision became public, buyers around the world took notice. Japan's agricultural ministry requested a reassessment of its upcoming beef contracts. German importers began shifting evaluation teams toward alternative suppliers. In the UAE, wholesalers quietly opened negotiations with non-US producers. None of these moves are loud or confrontational, but every one of them signals hesitation. And hesitation is dangerous for exporters. Inside the United States, ranchers are already feeling the consequences. Cold storage facilities are reaching capacity far earlier than expected. Export terminals on the West Coast are reporting reduced throughput. Cancellations are arriving faster than they can be processed. Costs, which were already high for feed, transportation, and labor, are now outpacing revenue. Ranchers who depend on global sales are confronting a harsh and sudden reality. The world is no longer prioritizing American beef. Meanwhile, Canada is doing the opposite. Instead of chaos, Canadian producers are experiencing momentum. Stability, quality assurance, and predictable supply chains have made Canadian beef increasingly attractive to international buyers. The maple leaf label, once overshadowed by American branding, is gaining ground in Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. South Korean buyers have increased inquiries. Vietnamese wholesalers have begun testing Canadian shipments. Even major hotel chains in the Gulf region are considering long-term procurement contracts. This transition is happening quietly but quickly. Markets don't wait for political debates to finish. They respond to confidence, reliability, and cost. With the United States facing trade friction, the world is shopping elsewhere, and Canada is offering exactly what buyers want right now: transparency, stability, and protection from political volatility. The ripple effects stretch far beyond the farms where cattle are raised. They affect commodity markets, restaurant supply chains, grocery pricing, and long-term export strategies. Global beef prices fluctuate when confidence in a major supplier is shaken. Insurance and logistics companies adjust their risk models. International buyers diversify their supply sources to prevent future disruptions. What starts as a reaction to one province's rejection turns into a shift in global behavior, and those shifts often become permanent, Economists, trade analysts, and agricultural policy experts are now raising alarms. They warn that if the United States does not address the underlying concerns, quality consistency, tariff unpredictability, and diplomatic instability, the consequences could last for years. Markets rely on trust, and once trust is damaged, competitors step in immediately. Canada, with its strong quality controls and clear trade policies, is showcasing exactly why countries are turning toward it. Political leaders in Canada have made their stance clear. They will defend their agricultural sectors from unfair trade pressure. Ontario's move reflects a broader sentiment across Canada, a refusal to let domestic industries be undermined for political leverage. Canadian officials argue that they are not escalating tensions. They are responding to them. In the United States, however, the message is landing with far more urgency. Ranchers are worried. Export groups are pressuring Washington to negotiate, and analysts say that without rapid policy correction, the United States could lose significant market share to Canada in regions it once dominated. If Japan reduces purchases, if Germany shifts import percentages, if Middle Eastern buyers lock in multi-year contracts with Canadian suppliers, regaining those markets will not be easy. Restaurants in Japan that once served exclusively American beef are now testing Alberta rib cuts. European distributors accustomed to U.S. shipments are diversifying with Canadian alternatives. Middle Eastern buyers, some of America's longest-standing partners, are evaluating whether Canada can provide more stable long-term supply. These are not small changes. They represent a quiet but profound shift in global demand. For Canada, this is a strategic opening. For the United States, it is a warning. And for the global market, it is a turning point. The next phase of this story will determine whether the realignment becomes permanent. If Canada continues expanding its contracts, strengthening logistics, and reinforcing its image as a stable supplier, its position in the global beef market could grow dramatically. If the United States continues to face pushback over tariffs and political instability, the decline may accelerate beyond recovery. This moment raises fundamental questions. Is the United States losing its long-held dominance in the global beef trade? Has Canada just secured a long-term advantage? Are global buyers preparing for a future where American beef is no longer the default choice? And most importantly, will this shift reshape food security strategies across the world? We will continue tracking every development of this fast-moving story and bring you the facts as they unfold. The choices made in the coming months will determine not only trade balances, but also the future of North America's agricultural identity. This is Maple States. Before we continue to our next report, a quick request. Our goal is 5,000 subscribers and 500 likes on this video. If you want more accurate, calm, and deeply researched reporting, your support helps us grow and stay independent. Please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. It truly makes a difference. More updates are coming soon as this story evolves. Stay with us.